It's that time of year, guys, where it's all about looking for who are the backup goalkeepers that are just waiting for that number one to fly the coop, to make the transfer. They're waiting for their own loan move to materialise. Maybe they're going to force a way out of the club. Maybe their number one goalkeeper at the moment in a really bad situation, and this summer they could undergo a transfer that would totally change their SO5 outlook. In the video today, guys, I don't think we've quite got 10, but we've got around that mark of SO5 sleeper keepers that we are going to keep an eye out for in the summer transfer window. At any point in the video, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new to Sorare and you haven't signed up yet, there's a link in the description of this video that will get you a free limited card once you've bought 5 from the market. It's the best way to sign up. It's the way everyone signs up. And if you sign up without hitting that link, you're one card worse off than everyone else. Obviously, by hitting that link, you support the content of the channel, and I thank you in advance if you do so. And let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, the whole point of this is first team designated good number one goalkeepers are never ever cheap. The best way to get them is when they're a number 2, or if they're maybe a number 1 at a really bad club, but you know they're a good goalkeeper, or you suspect you've caught a whisper of a rumour, you've got your ear close to the ground and you know what's about to go on. Regular viewers of the channel will probably recognise a few of these names, but I have done my best to try and give something a little bit different on this one. So I'm looking forward to catching your comments down below of who you think is a sleeper keeper that should have made it into this video that didn't. Number 1 for me, in no particular order, is Noah Atubolu. Now, Noah here is a German youth international playing at under 21 and under 17 level, and has been backup goalkeeper at Freiburg behind the legendary Mark Flecken. Flecken maybe leaves, maybe doesn't. In any case, Noah, this guy is itching to get some first team minutes, and at the moment, the market kind of knows what he's probably going to do. He's probably going to get some first team minutes by hook or by crook next season. He's done nothing in his SO5 career to this point, but he has featured a few times in the Cup. He's got one Europa League appearance, and he's playing a lot of B team football. So even a loan at Bundesliga 2 would be great for SO5, because as we've seen before, some of those goalkeepers can be pretty formidable. By coincidence, the next suggestion is a player in the very same mould, and I actually won him very recently, and that is Finn Dahmen of Mainz. Now, he's been back to the bench after having a spell as number 1, but if he is going to remain number 2, I think Finn has had a sniff of first team football and he's going to go and chase it. He is quite well priced versus even Atubolu there, but again, quite likely to get a loan out or some sort of transfer in the off season to get himself some more minutes. And again, something like the Austrian Bundesliga or Bundesliga 2 would be a very favourable transfer for someone like Finn Dahmen, who at 25 is a German youth international that won under 21 Euros a few years ago, 2020 or something like that, along with Florian Wirtz, Karim Adeyemi, Schlotterbeck, that generation of players. So he's a guy at 25 is primed to get a move and maybe become an absolute stud on SO5. Inaki Pena is a player that we all wanted to get a card of when he went to Galatasaray, but he never got one. Since he's been back at Barcelona, he's been on the bench, but he is out of contract in the summer, and at 24 years of age, he won't be U23 anymore, but he will be moving, and he fancies himself to be a first-team player. And if we got the Galatasaray scores, we probably do. And then, yeah, we've got a wee bit of Galatasaray back here. A few games, 2 actually against Barcelona, in actual fact, and then, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Against Besiktas. Pena is well admired across like Spain and kind of Latin Europe, and a move to really a number of clubs as a free transfer will be very much on the cards, and I think it's almost a given at this point that Inaki Pena will move into becoming our number 1 goalkeeper in the summer. Another player very more than likely to get a loan this summer and become a number 1 will be Gabriel Slonina, the American wonderkid goalkeeper. Made a blockbuster move to Chelsea recently, of course, and is never getting anywhere near the Chelsea first team anytime soon. They've spent a lot of money on him. He's got a very high ceiling. He's been a number 1 keeper his whole career so far. At his previous club in MLS since debuting. He was, pretty much an ever-present goalkeeper ever since, and Chelsea will not want to stunt his growth. I could see him going to Holland, Belgium, Portugal. A number of different leagues would fit him at this stage of his progression. 19 years of age, quite comfortably, you would imagine, and it would be wild if he never got a move this summer. Now, a player that's got very good underlying stats and very good progressive goalkeeper statistics. I'm talking about pass accuracy as well as save percentages and that kind of thing, and it is Sergio Herrera. Now, Osasuna have been a bit of a forgotten kind of team this season, been very formidable in not only the Copa del Rey, but in the league as well. And now, This guy's price on Sorare is very suppressed, particularly on the auctions at the moment, as far as the number one goalkeeper goes. I don't really know the exact situation, right? But over this season, he's been in a bit of a rotation between Cup and League with another goalkeeper. I think there's been a bit of prioritisation around what opponents they're playing to maybe hide some of this guy's weaknesses. Maybe they've got another goalkeeper they like a bit better. I'm not that appraised on it, but anyway, this guy's statistics are very credible, and at 29 years of age, there's a number of clubs in La Liga that really could use him. You know, I'm thinking about teams like Villarreal, who are still playing Reina, and they've got a few youth goalkeepers, but this guy's been very credible in La Liga. Even teams like Sevilla, again, I know they've got Bono, but there's lots of clubs in La Liga that really could use a bit of an upgrade at goalkeeper, and the kind of couple of seasons that this guy's had in Osasuna, because even before this season, this guy was on my radar, had very good goalkeeper statistics. I would not be surprised to see Sergio Herrera make a move, and it could be out with La Liga. Such as the statistics that they could catch the interest of a number of teams, maybe playing Europa League or Conference League, for example, and at 29 years of age, maybe that's an adventure they would go on. Talking about going on adventures, Keylor Navas has done one in the Premier League with Forest this year. Now, not too sure what will happen if they stay up, and it looks like that's quite possible now at this stage. Will he sign on or not? It's kind of hard to say, but at 36 years of age, the most decorated player to come out of North America ever, it feels like he should have a move to MLS or even Liga MX at some point in his career, and we see goalkeepers obviously play right close to their 40s, so Navas still has another year or two of first team football in him for me. And with his contract being out in the summer, it's not a definite he'll stay at Forest. Where he's priced at in the market at the moment, I do find appealing, because, it only takes one decent move and then this guy's price wildly changes, because he'd become a much better goalkeeper in SO5 terms. And since he's been at Forest, obviously, he's been pretty woeful. But he's a legend of a goalkeeper, and you just need to see when he is actually required and is required to do saves and such. He's a quality choice, So, yeah, maybe the only way is up for Navas. I hesitate to say at 36. Another player who has maybe been on a bit of an adventure this year is Stefan. I was going to say Moreno there. I was going to trip me up, but his name is Stefan Ortega. Very good season in the Bundesliga. He's went to Man City. He's got the bench. He's going to be getting his medals this year. Pep's made sure of that. And we've seen it a few times with these number twos that go to City. Maybe they do just go and get the medals and then they'll get loaned out or transferred on or whatever. With this guy being contracted to 2025 and being 30 years of age, I would be more thinking with the cameo appearances he's getting, maybe a team just come up to City and offer them some money. And with some of the transfer businesses City are trying to do, selling this guy for, a couple of mil profit would be very, very good FFP play. So I could see this guy maybe been happy with one season of experience in the City football group, getting his medals, getting a huge pay packet, and then maybe getting a star-studded transfer to somewhere across Europe where he can be a designated number one. At his price point on auction at the moment, you probably should be able to forecast when he's going to play, and if anything did happen to Ederson, in a worst-case scenario, we didn't leave City this summer, then he's maybe not a bad player to have for your academy teams, your training team or whatever, on the odd chance when he's going to play in the future going forward, if he was not to leave City before his contract expires. But even when his contract does expire, he'll be 32, and again, the fat lady won't be singing on his career at that point. Pedrag Rajkovic at 27, we all had high hopes for him when he was leaving France. He would get a big move and really kick on from the underlying data that he had when he was in France at quite a small team. But he's went to Spain, he's went to Mallorca, who are again quite a small team, really had a struggle of a season. Very good home record, he's done his job, but he's lost his number one international spot to Milinkovic-Savic, his brother. So at 27 years of age, he's still got a lot of progressing to do, and I would not be surprised to see, and I'm just using their name as an example, right, but a PSV, Benfica, Porto, a Challenger Euro Champions League team. I would not be surprised to see somebody like that come in for Pedrag here, because he will be motivated to get himself up in the standings and try and get himself back into that Serbia team. He's a very good goalkeeper, even if he stays at Mallorca. Their home games are always good for a clean sheet, and as you can see with these scores, he's not exactly a bad guy to have around. He's quite expensive at the moment, but you could probably get him cheaper in the off-season, so let's see how it goes with him. Now, we know Martin van der Veer is going to be moving to Leipzig, and as soon as that happens, it feels like Tobe Leysen will be moving in as a number one. Much cheaper than Atubolu, who featured at the beginning of the video, but unless van der Veer gets accelerated, in terms of maybe Leipzig pull him in the summer, pull him in January, you will be waiting a little bit longer for this one to materialise. But I've got a wee sneaky suspicion that, with the injury that Galassi had and how bad Blaswish was, I wouldn't be surprised if, depending on how the split goes for Genk, if they don't get a good European standard for next season, maybe Van der Vaart moves this summer, and that would accelerate Leysen into the first team's position. Now, Alexander Nubel will not probably be going back to Monaco. I don't think that'll be happening, and I don't think he'll be doing anything at Bayern Munich, so he will be on the move. He will be going on loan probably again this summer. And again, similar to Rajkovic, this guy could really end up in a number of different interesting places Sorare wise. His scores on Sorare have been pretty mince. He is pretty poorly priced because he's not a great goalkeeper to have. He can have some big scores, but they're very few and far between. But he needs to go to a bully boy team. He needs to go to Challenger Euro Champions League or something similar, where he can maybe get a bit of a better run, because he's been at a top team in Monaco and, he's just not been putting the scores in over the last 2 seasons. So again, for the price he's at, he could go somewhere very interesting and become a very powerful goalkeeper. He's going to be trying to push his credentials so that when Neuer does move on, Bayern look to him. And I think Champions League European football is probably what's going to be on the menu for Nubel.